Hey, what's up, guys? Making a video coming at y'all with a tip or a hack or whatever you want to call it for working on mower decks. What it is this is another customer's machine, and they wanted me to replace the blades and the belt on it. And here in a minute you'll see why, but the more important thing I wanted to talk about was what I had to do to get those blades on there, because it was definitely a chore. And so just wanted to cover that at tip, trick, hack, whatever you want to call it for this, and hopefully this video helps somebody. So this tip, as far as I know, pretty much covers any deck, any mower deck like this, or any mower deck period. They have the spindles and stuff. I mean, this particular deck came off of, I don't know if you can see it around the corner of the building there. Yard machines back there, that red yard machines back there. That's what this deck came off of. But this same trick will work for that Craftsman right there too. So as far as I know, pretty much all spindles. What I'm talking about is when I went to get this blade off right here, and you see how the nuts all chewed up. I broke a ratchet. I heated it, I quenched it, I broke a ratchet, I put a pipe wrench on it. That's what chewed it up like that. And it's seized on there. So got to figuring out my options, and I believe that if you're like me, or I'm gonna just talk about this in a way like maybe you're not me. You're just some John Q. public who's trying to put blades on your mower, and you run into this issue. So the I lost my train of thought here. Sorry, guys. When you're faced with this problem, the options are that get another mower. Option 2, get another deck. Option 3, replace the spindles. And I'm going to talk about a fourth option. And in case everybody doesn't know what spindles are, let me show you what I'm talking about when I say spindles. This is new spindles for this machine. That's a spindle. Yes, this Craftsman is my machine. It's not a customer's. And I'm going to be totally rebuilding the deck. But this, just so everybody understands, this is a spindle. Fourth option, though, is that you don't have to buy the full complete spindle. They actually sell the stuff to rebuild your spindles that you have. So let's talk about why, first off, you would consider rebuilding your spindles. Well, the biggest concern is cost, time, different things like that. And depending on how you do it, for me, I was able to do it pretty cheap, and matter of fact, I used used parts. But also the option, or the cheap, the time, the Also, not having to worry about breaking anything else or tearing up anything else. Or what I'm talking about is usually if that's seized, then the bolts that holds the spindles onto the deck are seized. And just so happens though, I have a guy that I know here locally that he sells used mower parts. And when I ran into that issue, I called him and I said, let me just say this, guys, if I ever go to replace a spindle, I'm not going to buy used. I'm going to buy new, just like I did there. But I called him, and so that should kind of give you a hint as to what I did. But I called him and I said, hey, do you got any spindles for this deck? And he said, yes, but the problem is you're probably going to snap the bolts off and all that. You're going to have all those problems getting them off. And I said, well, I'm not needing the actual housing, the actual whole entire spindle. What I need is that right there with the nut that is not seized on there. And because what I did was, and here's how to get to that point right there, is you remove your pulley, and then all you got to do is, what I did was I backed the nut off to the end of the shaft here, this threaded part, all the way to the end, and I tapped it with a hammer and it came right out. So that way all I had to do was go get those the replacements and replace that right there, rather than having to worry about snapping off the bolts and all of that to get those. All the customer wanted was new blades. Now, one of the other things that happened was that I wasn't looking forward to. You know, this whole problem I wasn't looking forward to, because obviously you don't plan for that nut to do that. But also, that's a bearing. So just in case you guys don't know, let me show you on this new spindle. When it comes to rebuilding spindles, it actually consists of 4 parts. You got the shaft that goes through the center. You got a bearing here, and then the housing. And so when I went and took this shaft out, that bottom bearing was seized to the shaft. Well, just so happens the guy that I got those other parts from happened to have 2 brand new bearings. So when I got them home, I took them in there to my wire wheel. I got a wire wheel on a grinder, stationary grinder, and cleaned up all the threads, cleaned up all of the studs and everything, and slid the new bearings on and put them in there. Put new blades on there. And I did not have to replace the spindles. So I got new bearings in the bottom. And why, you might ask, well, why didn't I go ahead and replace the bearings on top? Well, this deck wasn't that old. And so the bearings on the top were really, really good condition. And second of all, the top bearings aren't really the ones that take most of the abuse. It's the bottom, as you can imagine. It's got more weight swinging down there. It's cutting everything, you know. It's just the bottom bearings take more abuse than the top one. And so there it is, guys. Your trick or tip for rebuilding spindles, or in this case I was just trying to replace the blades and ended up having to rebuild the spindles. And like I said, you know, just a real simple, all I had to do was back the nut off. Well, here's the thing is, if you know that you're going to be rebuilding this, and you know, you got new shafts and all that, you really don't have to worry about putting the nut at the end of the threads, because it doesn't matter if you smash those threads or not. But if you are trying to save that, then, you know, yeah, you want to try to save those threads. But anyway, so there it is, guys, which I can show you. I did that with both of them. I'll show you the other one laying over here. There it is. So anyway, guys, so if you have any questions or comments, or, you know, it's a real, I was pricing, let me just say this also, I priced a set of spindles on this. They were going to be, I think, $30–40, Amazon or eBay, one of the two. And of course, then there's the wait time of trying to, you know, of waiting for Amazon or eBay to get the parts to you, you know, which requires more time, and $30–40. And so, you know, I spent $40 on that for the new bearings and for the different shafts. They were used shafts, but the bearings were brand new. And so I spent $40 on that and was able to fix it the same day. And so everybody knows, you know, when it comes to business, when you're working on people's stuff or whatever, time is money. Time is money. So the quicker you can get something in, quicker you can get it out, the quicker you can get paid. So, but also not making shortcuts. You know, again, I covered in a video not too long ago, and I said there's a difference between small engine mechanics and parts replacers, you know. And small engine mechanics can fix or repair what they got. Engine replacers replace parts. Or I'm sorry, parts replacers replace parts. And so, you know, now granted, you know, like I said, I was weighing that option and looking at that, you know, but the thing is that, you know, like I said, there was time. It wasn't really cost effective to do this, but it was just the time of it, you know, and getting this done faster, getting it out faster, and, you know, so, but for the most part, like I said, guys, on all of these riding mower decks, and then the tip I want to give y'all is to avoid that problem in the future, which I use old school anti-seize, but anti-seize everything. Everything. What do I mean by old school anti-seize? Motor oil. I got me an oil can, just like my grandpa had when I was growing up, and grandpa would oil everything. And I never knew why until I got older and started working on this stuff, and I realized, you know, that was back in the day before anti-seize, and that's why he did it. Oiled up all of these bolts and bolts and nuts, and that's why that one there, if you see a little wet spot on the pulley there, that's why, because it's got oil on it. Also oiled up these down here in the bottom, and so, and I've done this on a few different mowers, guys, and never ran into any issues getting them back off after I did that. So anyway, guys, that's the little tip, hack. If you run into that, those shafts come out, and hopefully you can find somebody that has used ones. If not, you can buy that shaft. You don't have to buy the whole spindle. What you have to do is you get the dimensions of the shaft and everything. Also, you got to make sure the star pattern's the same. This has a 6-star pattern, whereas that has a 5-star pattern for the blades. So you got to make sure the star pattern is the same, and the shaft size and length and everything's the same. And make sure those are right. And you can order those brand new. You can also order the bearings brand new and just rebuild your spindles. So anyway, I'm about to put this back under my mower. I'm sorry, not my mower, but the customer's mower. And on to the next part of it. I got to do a tune-up on it. So I hope this video helps somebody. And just remember, like I said, to anti-seize or oil everything, because you don't want to run into this problem in the future. So God bless, and y'all take care. All right.